There are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like the study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, a huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracies.
My name is Luke.
I am Salt.
I'm Cam. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good. All the dogs back in the pound today.
Hey, who let the dogs back in?
Yeah.
Hey, a little bone to pick, or like a big bone from the butchers, from a friendly butcher.
Yeah.
When I joined the No Dogs podcast last week, I was told, oh, by the way, Cam, no need to listen. There was a little friendly ribbing at the beginning. You don't need to listen. Well, I did listen. And I would say that the friendly ribbing was a little more unfriendly, and there was maybe more than a little of it.
Cam, were you hurt to hear it back?
No, it's just funny because I was like,
okay, well, that's good. Dogs. That was the point.
Yeah. This is No Dogs, but I can hear two dogs.
It's 2024, mate. The year of not dogging your mates unless there's two of you against one.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can form a gang, immediately turn on the weaker person. This is how society works, Cam. Get on board.
We're back on the conspiracy theories this week.
Hey, before we kind of explain it a bit more, you just said, Cam, you've got a bone to pick. And the thing that I've got in front of me is a picture of a tiny kitten. And it says, she's got a bone to pick. Itty Bit, a 5-week-old kitten, seems about ready to bite off more than she can chew as she looks over the big bone that's been put down in front of her by her owner. And yeah, it's a kitten with a giant bone in front of it. And that's from the Weekly World News.
Yeah, so I think as discussed, we're going to do a little bit of something different just because the world is a hellfire and it's all conspiracies. We're going back in time. Classic liberal running away from the world.
Let's build a different echo chamber for ourselves.
Yeah.
Come with us, friends.
What's slightly frustrating is there's been some really fun conspiracy things happening. Liberal or Democrat supporters are doing like QAnon gear now. For vote rigging and stuff, and saying that Starlink rigged the votes, and one of the evidences a Starlink satellite crashed somewhere, and they're like, that they had to put it out of action.
It's like, did they stored all the incriminating info on that one satellite and then crashed it into the ocean?
Yeah. Which man, doing some Democrat or liberal conspiracies would be a lot of fun, and I welcome change. And there's been a bit of UFO disclosure as well this week, but nothing more that we didn't know.
I also saw that like Marjorie Taylor Greene was still on the stolen election gear, even though they won. But I think maybe in the House they've got it by like one seat or something.
I think there was a lot of mail-in votes or votes that were counted very late that changed what had originally given certain seats to the Republicans, but then the left over votes that come in late tipped the balance the other way.
Yeah, but he still won. But they're like still complaining that it was rigged. It's guys, you won. Just relax. And also, InfoWars got bought.
Oh, and InfoWars got bought by The Onion, yeah.
By The Onion.
I think
earlier, we're going to relaunch it as the dumbest website on the internet. I was like, wasn't it already that?
I wish I haven't had a chance to see what Jones is up to, but I can't imagine it's going to be easy for the Onion to take over.
No, well, they don't
because-
seem terribly happy about it. I don't think they're accepting the decision that
Yeah.
they've been bought.
And he's got a lot of very
boys.
violent fans, so I hope the Onion people, and I guess there's a couple of quite visible ones, are looking after themselves. I'm sure they are.
I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and one of the relatives of one of the people getting married, who I've never met before in my life, pardon me, just come up to me and started talking to me. They live in the United States. They're Australian, but they live in the US. And they said somehow they ended up saying to me, you know Alex Jones? And I was like, this conversation is about to go really south. And I was expecting them to start sprouting off some Jonesy knowledge at me, but they ended up making fun of someone else for being really into Jonesy.
Ah, good. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, phew, all right. I was trying to eye off the exits at that moment. I was like, oh, where's this going? But it was fine. I love encountering a Jonesy reference in the wild.
Yeah.
Near no one that you know.
All right. So how are we doing this? We're just going to talk through some stories?
Yeah, so rather than talking about the current news, we're going to dive into the archives of the Weekly World News, grab a few stories from the distant and not so distant past, and just talk through them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is 33... Oh, Masonic. 33-year-old...
Jesus Christ.
That's a mistake, but damn, what a fortunate mistake. 33-year-old Weekly World News is what we're going to be going through and try and do the corresponding week. So people that don't know, I guess what Weekly World News was that tongue-in-cheek paper that just compiled a lot of random stories from around the place, but then became, I think, increasingly more cooked. Because this one wasn't that cooked, was it?
Yeah, no, looking at this one, I was like, oh, these are just kind of strange stories. And from when I remember it being a thing, it was all just Bat Baby born in Venezuela.
Yeah,
and
Bat Boy was kind of their big one, I think.
Yeah.
Front page Bat Boy stuff. So I think we're going to notice that if we continue with this, we're going to notice it evolve.
Yeah.
As time goes. Because I think the first half was, just quirky stories. I think there was definitely a line where it crossed into UFOs and ghosts about halfway through. That's what I found anyway. I've got a whole bunch of stories saved, so should we just bloody fire into it? Some of them are just silly. The first one I saved was this is a sailing tugboat saves on fuel, and they've just worked out that sails can also sail boats. They're reporting.
How useless is a sail-powered tugboat?
Well, they're like, oh, he could actually pull something, and maybe this is the way forward for tugboats.
Right. What was he pulling, a tinny?
He was pulling another small barge, I think, yeah. There's a photo of a dog in that one, though, so that's fun to look at.
Yeah.
A dog looks pretty happy. A fair wind cuts captain's diesel costs by an incredible 30 to 40%.
Was he using the sails to supplement his very powerful tugboat engines?
I don't think so. I think he turned the engines off and was just sailing. He once put a tablecloth up as a sail as a silly joke, and then he thought it was a fun way to, maybe a potential new way to tug some other boat. Princess Diana was on a hunt. She killed a deer.
Yeah.
And people were outraged by the fact that she killed a deer, and she wasn't really happy she didn't like it seeing it gutted, and so that was what Princess Diana was up to.
Lucky she didn't kill one of the bloody Queen's swans. Imagine the uproar.
Oh, that's right. She shot and failed to kill the red stag.
Right.
But it does say in the article she was a good shot, but then it says she didn't kill it. So I don't think she was a good shot. Anyway, I imagine there's going to be a lot more Diana news, at least.
Yeah. This is from November 1981.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, so Diana is still alive when this story is published.
Yeah. We're not that cooked in this yet in this. She's probably got quite the journey ahead of her in the Weekly World News, I imagine.
I have to say, I feel like the royal, the press people who are supposed to have a pretty tight lock on the media. Obviously, that didn't apply to the Weekly World News.
No. I don't think they generated the story. It obviously would would have come. They don't have royal reporters on the ground embedded in the hunt.
No, but it's like the press people for the royal family, like they're supposed to be shutting down stories, but meanwhile, this story about Princess Diana maiming a deer, maiming Bambi, and then being disgusted as it is gutted in front of her, like they've dropped the ball on that.
When did they get married? I didn't think they were even married at that point.
Must have been like 80 or something, right?
Yeah, that year, 1981.
Right.
They got married in March. A little honeymoon with some deer killing. Also on that page was a story, the headline grabbed me for obvious reasons. It is, he takes a pounding and hunt for a job. The man in question taking the pounding is John Wooten, a 33-year-old strongman who wants to be a movie star and thinks he'll make it if his body can take the pounding. So he goes to Hollywood and set up outside his motel a bed of nails and had people bashing, that classic thing people did a lot in the 80s.
Yeah.
Beds of nails.
Concrete blocks on the stomach.
Yeah. It turns out he never made it as a movie star, but he certainly had a decades-long career, this fella. The last article, I don't know what happened to him now, but the last article I saw was 2007, and he was still doing strongman things. I think it was his whole shtick was towing trucks with a rope around his neck, and he would like pull the trucks.
Yeah.
But he also was hospitalized after laying on a bed of nails while a motorcycle drove over him. I think it cracked his pelvis or something.
Right.
Which
Notice how the motorcycle did the damage, not the nails.
Not the nails, that is true.
Is that science or physics? Well, physics is science, right?
Yeah. So this article about... Sorry, I've got really distracted. So the guy that drove the motorcycle ended up paralyzed from the neck down and was in critical condition. Instead of going straight over...
From that?
Yeah, instead of going straight over, the bike lifted up in the air and came down on me. The front wheel hit my pelvic area real hard. The back wheel shattered the board. We stayed in the contract. We wanted oak for the ramp, but a guy from the lumberyard said pine would be just as good. So I think they had a little ramp to go up and over and ended up doing a big wheelie and smashing down on him.
Wow.
I don't know if this guy's still alive. He might still be doing strongman things, but he was also on an ad for a car as well. So he kind of made it to this... What's the TV? The TV's not silver screen, is it?
No, the small screen.
That's a small screen.
Made it to the boob tube. The ad, it's for a Ford Tempo, I think it is. Yep, Ford Tempo. It's a pretty cool looking car. In the comments from 14 years ago, people are getting real hit up about what's a better car, the Ford Tempo or the Ford Pinto. One person is just like going on full screed rants about you don't know what you're talking about. You've never even owned one. Instead of refuting my statement, you just outlined what I already excused. I addressed the matter point by point. Bottom line, you haven't had to live with both a Pinto and a Tempo. I have. You tried to do all the service work on a Tempo for 3 years, then do all the service work on a Pinto for 3 years, and tell me which one is the better car. So yeah, that guy, Zap Watt, 14 years ago, was just like in the comments of an old 80s commercial, just getting fierce about the Ford Tempo.
I did start to Google that guy because I was like, I wonder, maybe there's some really big story there. But yeah, all I found was just that he kept doing more laying on nails gear.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed to sustain him because he was doing, like, he's got a few records. I think he's got at least one Guinness record and a lot of other claims.
Okay.
Like he's one where he lifted 8 strippers on a board and said he had the world record for lifting strippers. And the article was like, I mean, I guess there's no way to really prove it either way. Yep. I guess these days strong men are just like, and women, I guess, are legitimized, aren't they?
Yeah,
we have
the
those.
world's strongest man is like a huge thing.
Yeah, they don't have to go and pull a truck.
Yeah, well, it's legitimized in the sense that we don't make them have funny moustaches and leopard print leotards anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And dumbbells that are like a bar with 2 giant spheres on the end of them.
Yeah.
They can just lift regular dumbbells.
They can wear normal clothes.
Yeah.
Other thing I noted, I think this might have been on the same page too. This is a photo and it's titled "Turtle Traffic Jam Down on the Duck Pond."
Love that.
Oh no,
that would have been good for last week.
It would have been perfect for last week. Even the turtles at the town lake in Austin get sick of the water after weeks of rain and floods. They took advantage of a brief period of sunshine to play Follow the Leader to a dry place. And there's a whole little string of turtles climbing up a log.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Slow news day at the Weekly World News.
Yeah. So then this is where we got into the divide. So there was an ad for suppressed CIA documents prove US possesses remains of UFOs and alien beings.
Yeah.
So that was the riddle of Hangar 18, which Hangar 18 is almost like an Area 57 similar thing. I think there's a whole...
Area 51?
Area 51, sorry. Was Area 57 a ska band or something?
Yeah, possibly.
I think so.
Hangar 18 is a banger Megadeth song.
Hangar 18 is?
Yeah.
There is an Area 57 movie.
Right.
Anyway, don't ask me more about Area 57. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, Hangar 18, I think, is that kind of a thing. But you could post a letter and you were going to get, with your order, a set of glossy photos showing the remains of alien bodies, a mini poster showing the many types of aliens seen by witnesses worldwide, and a trial subscription to UFO Review, the world's only flying saucer newspaper.
You know what we should do? We should go and take a bunch of these things and write away to them and see if we get anything back.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the Alien World Review are checking UFO Review are checking their PO box?
Maybe. I'm going to look it up. 303 Fifth Avenue, New York.
That has the feel of some real estate that maybe in 1981 was affordable for the UFO Review, but perhaps 303 Fifth Avenue, New York is out of their price range in 2024.
This is the kind of shit I should be looking at for when I go on my trip overseas. When I go to the US in February, I need to go find this address.
That is 100% the right way to travel.
All right, I'm looking at it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, boys. Bread and Butter Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like it's there. But the space above, for rent.
Whoa, you could move in.
The for rent sign is a pretty good bloody cover for where you're going to stash your fucking UFO news offices. No one's going to suspect it.
What's the cafe look like?
Oh, it's just like a swanky New York cafe.
Nice. I mean, so even if you can't uncover anything,
yeah,
you can get a nice baked treat probably.
Also, right next to the cafe is a place called Let's Meet, and meat is spelt MEAT.
Ah, a little
go to
pun.
The cafe. Go to Let's Meet.
New York. Is it in New York? Did we say?
Yeah, New York.
Yes, New York.
303 Fifth Avenue. Right across the road is a bloody Dunkin'.
Oh yeah, so it's a Korean barbecue buffet.
Ooh.
The first Ace Korean barbecue restaurant. I don't think they mean asexual. All you can eat Korean.
No, but you could go in there and you could say to them, "Hey, all my asexual brothers and sisters, where the UFO's at?"
Yeah.
They'll be like next door upstairs. See where it says for rent? That's the cover. But look at that building, Robert, where it says for rent. Tell me you couldn't imagine a clandestine UFO newspaper operating out of that floor.
Yeah, it's the perfect location.
Yeah.
And then on your lunch break, Korean barbecue buffet.
Yeah. All
right.
Speaking of the ads, just before we get onto the cook stuff,
Yeah.
some of the ads are cooked as well.
Oh yeah, they're the most cooked.
That was a cooked ad. I liked a few pages earlier. There was the London University crash burn wonder diet, fastest weight loss method known to medical science. Brackets except for total starvation. And I was like, I wonder what it is. I wonder like what diet technology was like in 1981. And it's essentially just the same as in 2024. The reason it's the fastest weight loss method known to medical science, except for total starvation, is because it's like near starvation.
Right.
That's the method.
Yeah.
Which it does work.
Yeah, not eating does.
Yeah, not eating is the only guaranteed weight loss method. But also, you could send away for the lost books of the Bible.
Yeah.
Revealed after 15 centuries, the truth about the childhood and early life of Jesus, which I have to say, that is the problem with the Bible. You have Jesus gets born and then they do a time jump and he's getting around building tables. And you're like, what happened? How did you learn how to use a hammer? You can send away and get the book.
Do we need to know that?
Well, if you've got the greatest book ever sold, the most copies ever sold of a book, and you've got 20 years of content.
You're looking at it with modern eyes, Cam. Not everything needs to be a spin-off or a gritty origin story.
Yeah, well, that's why the church suppressed it for 1,500 years, obviously.
Yeah, too gritty.
We don't need a gritty origin story. It's not good for the brand.
Yeah,
there's a great.
If we learn that he's so good with a hammer because he was in a hammer gang, that's not a good look.
There's a great trio of ads on the bottom of a page that's maybe this whole segment should just be looking at the cooked ads because there's some good ones. The first ad is carry the word of God close to your heart with the Shirt Pocket Bible. It's the little Bible, only $1.
That's good
the
value.
The ad right next to that is beat the casinos, free newsletter, winning tips, unlimited lifetime income, blackjack, craps, keno, roulette, slot machines. And then the ad next to that is for a pepper spray called the Paralyzer. Tear gas aerosol weapon fires 70 blasts up to 18 feet. The Paralyzer has been featured on NBC, CBS, and ABC TV, major newspapers, and national magazines. Stops any attacker instantly, up to 20 minutes. Gives you enough time to escape and summon help.
Not so much the casinos one, but the other two could be still advertising on InfoWars today. And it wouldn't seem out of place.
I did have another trio that I don't think you could advertise on InfoWars today. One of them was send away for a shamrock. It's a leprechaun and a
shamrock.
Which brings you double luck.
Mm-hmm. Got both of them on there.
Yeah, send off to Mr. Lucky for that. You could send off just for them to mail you a prayer every week, which is, whatever. With a free golden cross, though.
Yep.
But then there was also the Right in Time, which would, if you send off now, would be delivered for Christmas for only $19.98, which in 1981? That's not a small amount, right?
How much? $9?
No, $19.98, so $20.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
$20 in 1981 for a pen with a clock on it.
You know what? My grandparents had a pen with a clock on it. They had that exact pen.
Was it good?
I just remember playing with it when I was a kid and going, and you could press the button on the top and the time would show up. It was it looked exactly the same, a little digital clock on the side of a biro.
Yeah, it would also show you the date.
Right.
But now, did it handle leap years? How much technology was in this pen?
You would have surely had to have put that in yourself.
We've got an old clock in the office at work that we got from a bank. It's a cool one of those ticks over with the flippers.
Little flippers.
Flipper dips. And it flips over to, I think, April 31st every year. I was sitting in my office once and I was like, wait a minute. That day doesn't exist.
Is that it's a weird way for it to handle leap years? No, but then it would throw it off for the whole...
Yeah, I don't know. I took a photo and didn't think about it again until quite recently, so I need to wait.
Wouldn't all months flip over to 31 if it's just flipping through flippers?
Oh, maybe I've only. But then when does it change to the first? It would just get out progressively, and it's at the moment it's current.
Right. It would take 30 months for it to click back into sync, right?
Yeah. All right, I'll investigate this clock further.
Yeah.
I hope it's not haunted.
Probably a reason the bank got rid of it.
Well, the bank closed down.
Right. Probably because they kept fucking awful time.
It was a disaster, their days. You got to get your days right at the bank.
The armored car kept turning up. They were like, I thought you were coming tomorrow. It's like, Jesus Christ.
$20 in 1981 would be about $70 today, which is pretty exy for a pen, even with a little LCD clock in it.
Well, these especially pen with
especially
clock.
Yeah, especially if you could go out and buy a hypercolor T-shirt for the same amount of money.
You could not at that time, Cam.
In the 80s?
Cam, we've established
The decade of hypercolor.
I've just brought up a website called frugo.co.nz. This is a ballpoint pen with digital electronic watch for student exam office test school. It's a blue pen. It's got a little digital readout. Looks pretty nice. What do you reckon that's costing us these days? It's on special.
$15.
Oh, this is a Black Friday special?
No, just a regular special.
All right. Yeah, $20 still?
$13.95.
Hey.
But
registered
retail price is $21.95.
Okay.
All right. Oh, so the $13.95 is if you're buying it wholesale.
No, that's not
on sale.
On sale.
That's just on sale.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, now we've established how much pens cost.
Yeah. There's also an ad for How to Do It occult books.
Oh.
And the different books you can get are Famous Voodoo Rituals and Spells, Secret Voodoo Rituals to Solve Love, Money, Personal Problems, all explained.
Hang
Potions,
on.
Herbs, dolls, powders, oils, etc. Hundreds of items.
Hang on. It's called Famous Voodoo
Rituals and Spells.
And then it says they're secret.
Yeah.
I mean, which is it?
I mean, you can. Everyone knows what KFC is, but no one knows how it's made.
Oh, you got me there, Salt. You got me there.
There we go. Master Book of Candle Burning.
Oh yeah.
Modern Witchcraft Spellbook. Out of Body Consciousness. Mastering Witchcraft. Magical Charms, Potions, Secrets for Love. Oh, that's a bit problematic. Book of Legendary Spells. That's the most expensive one. That one's $5.95.
You can get some good value out of these things.
Yeah.
I guess
if you want to get the one for love, it's only $3. $3 and you can magic someone into loving you. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. I found a good ghost story about a little girl. They were living in this haunted house. They didn't know it was haunted, but it was an author. This is Paul Fortier, the author, who wrote Fields of Amaranth, and they were in a ghost house, and his daughter was convinced it was haunted, and his wife was, and he's like, "You don't know what you're talking about." The daughter woke up and could smell smoke, or thought things were on fire, so she went into her parents' bedroom, and there was 2 naked boys wrestling with her mother, and the dad had a pair of scissors driven into his throat. And then she was screaming as the children were beating her. And so the child ran for help. But when they came back, everything was normal, except for the dad was dead and the wife was injured. There was no naked boys anymore. This story has bounced around the internet for years as well. And it's ended up in like books, and it's quite a famous, one of those famous kind of ghosty stories. But I don't think there's any evidence that anything exists.
Yeah. Also, I felt like the Weekly World News, and this is not to have a go at their journalistic standards, but they really bury that this happened in like 1905.
Oh, I didn't even notice that either.
That's like in the very last line. They're like, oh, by the way, the house burned down in 1906.
Yeah, right. There's a photo of a big cow, and it's titled, "Here's a Lot of Bull." It's just fun to see a big cow.
I saw a TikTok video with a really big dog the other day, and I was like, fuck, that's a great big dog.
Big dogs, I think, are having a moment. I've seen some big dog content going around. It's good to see. There was the mechanical dog that the guy made. Did you guys see this mechanical dog?
Yeah.
He has an electronic
It's
bark.
no Boston Electronics, Boston fucking whatever they're called dog, is it?
No, this guy, Steve Brooks, spent $4,000 building it out of vacuum cleaner parts, aluminium cans, soda siphons, and it's powered by a motorcycle battery. He has an electronic bark, and when nature calls, he can use a tree just like any other dog, thanks to a built-in windshield washer pump. So he made it. He designed a dog so it could piss, basically.
Right.
But that's the only thing it does other than bark.
Right. I bet you if you kick it, it falls over though.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks horrifying. It looks, and the guy is trying to look imposing with it. When will man finally create a proper electronic dog? There's a guy had a plan to put mirrors on the moon.
Yep. Great idea.
French scientist Christian Marchal. My plan is completely practical and could provide enough light by which to read or work at night. Now, he told delegates attending the 32nd International Space Travel Congress in Rome. A mirror measuring 1 square yard placed on the moon would reflect the sun's rays over a 1,230 to 1,460 square mile area of Earth, but he would need 76,000 square miles of mirror.
Yeah, I guess there's only one small problem with that idea. Is fuck off. It's dark at night. He's like, I've got the perfect solution. What if we could make it light? We've got a way of making it light at night. He's like, what if we had a way of making it light at night that you couldn't turn off?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I wonder if that one was a bit of a troll.
Go away. It's dark at night time. People need to sleep.
People do need to sleep. They have a new TV section of this, like any other good paper does.
Mm-hmm.
But
what was on the telly?
There's a talk of the reviewer says it's time for dull Johnny Carson to quit and stop boring America. This is critic Rex Winston, who calls it like he sees it.
Right.
I've got a little bit more on Johnny Carson. He's going to come up later. But there's letters to the editor, and this elderly letter writer she's sickened by the tampon commercials. She doesn't want to see them. She thinks they're offensive. Someone else thinks that TV is devilish. Too much sex, drugs, destruction, and crime.
Have tampon commercials not always just been ladies having fun at the beach and swimming and stuff because they can? Because
I think it was back then they were like all the blue liquid stuff.
Ah, right. Gotcha.
Which they used to test up until quite modern time, like quite recently, to test the effectiveness of period products. And then they realized that blue liquid doesn't mimic a period at all. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, they've been testing them wrong. Scientists,
a very thin-looking blue-tinted water.
Yeah. There's a pretty famous story, I think. I could be getting some details wrong, but I think the way that it's always told is like, you know, we've let men test these so badly for so long. Yeah, it's probably true. This person, they believe the devil's trying to brainwash us through TV. All you can hope for is that TV will change. Sorry, Randy, but it's not going to get any better. And then someone doesn't like MASH. They can't believe
MASH is trash.
Yeah, MASH is trash. The people watching it have a taste for just plain old garbage. One viewing of that show was enough to turn my stomach to the point of acute nausea. I can't believe an idiotic series like that is a hit. MASH is pretty good.
Yeah, MASH is fine. It's like, well, why are they having so much fun if they're at war? It doesn't make any sense. Well, he's right about that bit.
They weren't always having fun.
They're like, why are they laughing so much? Shouldn't they just be crying all the time?
All right. Now, the final thing I have is the Pauline Bendit, she's a Romanian psychic who regularly presents her uncanny predictions for news readers. Would you like to hear?
She was made famous because she predicted the assassination of Ronald Reagan or the attempt?
Yes. Yeah, worldwide fame.
Have we confirmed that she did that?
Do you want to do it while I read the predictions?
Go ahead.
So there's 5 predictions that she's made this week. First one, an American-born descendant of Pancho Villa will return to Mexico and lead a rebel army against the government in Mexico City. I don't think that happened. It hasn't happened yet anyway. The ghost of assassinated Egyptian President Anwar Sadat will be seen on numerous occasions near the Great Pyramid. I don't think that happened either.
Dog on top of the pyramid the other day.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, that's not him, right?
No. She also predicted that talk show superstar Johnny Carson will abruptly quit NBC's Tonight Show. She must have read the review of him stinking it up. And will be replaced by Barbara Walters, who will quit ABC for the career-building opportunity. That one never happened. This is the boldest one. This is so specific. The hit song of the 1980s will be a Greek folk song recorded by a 6-year-old violinist from Poland.
Right.
That's too specific for a...
It is very specific.
It's incredibly specific.
As far as I know, that didn't happen. I don't think... There's no one hit song from a decade. What do you reckon the biggest selling single of the 80s was?
I think it was... Wasn't it like that little kid with the violin? The Polish kid?
The little Greek kid.
Ah! All right, you want to have... This is the official best-selling
Was it-
singles from the 80s.
Shut up at your face.
Yeah, shut up in your face, indeed. No, it is. Anyone want to have a proper guess?
Top what top hit songs from the 80s?
As in,
There's
this
got to
is
be
the-
at least a few
Maybe-
Michael Jacksons in there, right?
Yeah. I was going to say
Michael
maybe a
Jackson's
Wham.
pretty far down the list. Wham is in the top 6, as in number 6.
Yeah.
George Michael is number 8 with Careless Whisper.
What Wham song was number 6? The Wham rap, I assume.
No, Last Christmas.
All right.
Are we talking a specific year?
The whole decade of the 80s.
Whole decade of the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to know the top song from the whole decade of the 80s?
Yeah, which
This
is what's
might
been
just
pretty
be
good.
this might be a UK chart. It's a
Right.
UK chart.
So the song that charted the highest for the longest in the 80s, is that what it
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
saying?
yeah. All right, shall I share the?
It's not a Madonna?
No, not a Madonna. It is. I've just clicked away. It's Don't They Know It's Christmas? The Band-Aid.
Ah, there you go.
The Band-Aid one. And in the US, it turns out it was Olivia Newton-John Physical.
Yeah.
Right.
10 weeks in the charts.
Look at that.
Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes, Diana Ross and Lionel Richie, Endless Love, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger at number 4, and number 5, The Police, Every Breath You Take. None of them, to the best of my knowledge,
By a little small child with a violin.
Yeah, from Poland.
From
Just doing a
Poland.
Greek folk song.
Yeah.
And the other last prediction was a huge alligator, 3 times the size of normal alligators. Normal alligators will terrorize tourists in Florida this winter and be blamed for the deaths of 6 people.
Not only do I not think that was going to be a chart-topping song, I don't think that song even exists. But I don't think that artist... Yeah, what are they talking about? Also, if you Google the psychic, couldn't find anything about her Reagan prediction, and it seems like there's very little about her. But they have a photo of her. They wouldn't just make up a person.
Absolutely. I guess it was harder to make up a person back then, wasn't it? Pauline
Yeah.
Bendit. Reagan. Sorry. Not that I don't believe you, Cam. Yeah, right. Well, I'm looking forward to learning more about her predictions. Or learning more predictions from her. Any? We got anything else from the Weekly World News?
Hey, I just wanted to point out that the 30 whatever it is Ghost newspaper headquarters, UFO headquarters in New York, is just down the road from the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Really?
Yeah.
It's quite a spooky street.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 4.5 kilometers away, but like, you know, you can get there on one street, basically.
Yeah, right. And the Greatest Scheme, that's pretty close. And is the Ghostbusters place, is there anything you can go see there, or is it like...
Well, it's like the firehouse from Ghostbusters where they move into, and there's a Ghostbusters sign out the front.
Yeah, so they've got, they lean into it.
They've got a Ghostbusters sign up there, yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Are you going to visit that when you're there?
Yeah, I'd like to.
You could go down into the basement and check out the where they've got all the ghosts stored very poorly.
Containment?
Yeah, go check out the poorly maintained containment system.
Go down there and demand they turn it off.
Anything else from the Weekly World News? Cam, what do you got?
My final thing from the Weekly World News is on the same page as the Pauline Bendit's thing and those other ads that Salty mentioned before. There was also, you can send away for an optical illusion of at one glance, it looks like a beautiful woman sitting at a vanity.
Okay.
But from another angle, it looks like a grotesque skull. This is a picture in such short supply that people have written newspapers trying to find it. Now you can send away for only $2.95 and they'll send you a copy, but I can just clip it out of the newspaper.
Yeah.
I've got it right in front of me.
Quite
Better
small.
nowadays, you could just bloody Google that picture and it's probably everywhere.
It's a famous one, that one. I think it's a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah, there's two kind of, I know of 2 photos that have the similar illusion. One is the chicks with the vanity, and the other one is a woman sort of sitting with her hands. She's like sitting on the ground with her legs out, and she's kind of leaning forward with her hands down by her feet.
Oh yeah,
it does a similar kind of thing.
What you see in this illusion reveals if you're trusting or cautious, and that's the one you talked about. I don't know. I see someone trying to do an optical illusion.
Yeah. I say skull because it's like very dodgily scanned black and white. I don't know if we're getting the full picture,
There's
Oh,
a
yeah,
cool.
there was-
There's also a cool
go.
skull bakery illusion. I can recommend everyone Google skull bakery illusion. It's like a woman with bread and skulls, and she looks like a skull. Yeah, this rules.
So I there was a couple of things I looked at that didn't really turn into much, but I was hoping they would. So there was a story about hang on, I lost my tab. I lost my tab, boys.
Oh no, you closed your tab.
There it is. No, I didn't close it, I just lost it. One was about the headline caught me, being a baldy man myself. It says baldies say balm makes hair grow. And I was like, okay. And the story is about the US Postal Service wanting this guy, Robert Murphy, to stop distributing his hair balm through the mail. But all these people who have been ordering his new generation shampoo are swearing that it grows them new hair. So I was like, I wonder what that's about. Because, hair, advanced hair systems is like a big thing now, like hair loss treatments and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking, what was going on in the 80s that the post office wanted to shut this guy down? Like, what was he onto?
Because all of the postmen were getting hairy palms when it was leaking through the envelopes?
Probably. Everyone's going, bloody hairy palms.
Yeah, we know what that means.
So anyway, I thought I'd look this guy up, and I found a couple of things that like didn't really lead anywhere. But there was two guys in America at the time. One was this guy Robert Murphy, and another guy called Hal Lederman, and they were both selling the same sort of formula of hair growth stuff. So apparently one of them, there was some research that was done in the 70s or something with mice or rats where they took this ingredient, which is like, polysorbate 60. And they put it on the skin of mice or whatever, and they grew more fur. And so this guy found this research from the 70s and was like, yeah, he was a chemist, I think, and he's like, I can get all that shit at my pharmacy supplier. Why don't I bang up some hair stuff with this really easy to get shit and we can sell it? But anyway, so he made this paste and was selling it through the mail. And I think he got hit with like a false advertising thing, which is why the post office tried to crack down on it. And because he was like accepting money through the mail for it, which I think is illegal. But this other guy was also selling the stuff, but he was like a more slick salesman, and he had like branded it as the Helsinki formula rather than like the mouse paste or whatever the other guy was calling his at the time. And so the mouse paste guy was trying to sue the Helsinki guy. And I was hoping it was going to turn into some sort of real awesome like 80s underbelly style hair war story, but I think they just kind of yelled at each other in court a bit, and they decided that neither of them could claim it was their own shit because it was something that was brought up in the 70s.
Right.
They were just both doing the same thing, and yeah. But apparently the descriptions of the two blokes, because they both used their product, I guess, and it says Letterman sports a rising bouffant of naturally thick silver hair. Murphy lets the hair on top of his head grow to enormous length and coils it turban-like around his balding scalp.
Around his balding scalp. So he's got a Hulk Hogan going on.
He grows this big long hair and just coils it up on his head to cover his bald spot.
Instead of a comb over, he's doing the beehive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It's bold.
And then
I feel like this is wasted on the podcast, though. This could be a TV show.
It could.
HBO top of the line drama with these guys with enormous hair in the 80s battling it out over the crems.
Funny you said beehive there, Luke, because the other thing that I saw was this ad. It's not an ad, it's an article. It says, amazing new lenses let blind see again. And it says, these spectacular new spectacles, worn by inventor Dr. William Feinbloom above, can miraculously restore sight for about half of the nation's 1.5 million blind people. The lenses work by means of tiny telescopes, 3 for each eye, that magnify the dim vision, which many legally blind people have. Feinblum of New York calls it Feinblum of New York calls the new glasses honeybee lenses, and costs range from $3,000 to $6,000. And the photo of him there, I posted it in our little group chat earlier. The photo of it is like a normal pair of glasses with what looks like some sort of enormous apparatus of glass and lenses and plastic and metal attached to it that like.
So his solution,
completely impractical looking.
His solution to eyesight issues was just more lenses.
Yeah, you know what? Instead of looking through glasses, you've got to look through tiny telescopes.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way in hell that concept went anywhere. So I Googled it, and not only does it appear to have gone places, I found a bloody designsforvision.com catalog has the honeybee glasses in their catalog.
Right.
There's a PDF, like it's made it all the way to the PDF age that you can get these glasses, and it explains how they work.
Not a long PDF. It's not book length, but
No, it's not book length at all. It's like 2 pages. It's pamphlet.
Catalog length.
Yeah. But yeah, the honeybee lenses is a spectacle-mounted triple telescopic system that gives a patient the largest vision field available in their perspective powers. I thought for sure that would never be seen again.
Designs for Vision is a place that specializes in putting tiny lenses over your regular lenses.
Yeah.
And they've got all sorts of designs.
Like for people who work on, like doctors and surgeons and things like
doctors, but you can, just if you're a normal person, you can get one. There's a photo of a guy wearing them. He looks pretty happy. There's another guy wearing them. There's a lady exclaiming wearing hers. Oh, this lady's waving wearing hers. So you can do all sorts of things. Yeah, so they just they sell them. The honeybee lens system's still for sale. Doesn't give a price for the honeybee lens system. Designs for Vision. It's an interesting website. I like the photos because they're all of people in their maybe late 60s, early 70s just looking just like stuff. Looking at a thing. Yeah.
My favorite is the old lady holding a hand of like 15 playing cards.
Yes.
Looking at it with her little telescope glasses.
Yeah, it's great. Reading. She literally has reading telescopes.
Yeah.
I hope the guy that invented this and was first reported about in the Weekly World News is making some money off all this. What was his name?
Well, his name was William Feinblum above, but in this photo in 1981, he looks about 90.
Right. He's probably dead.
Yeah.
William Feinblum?
Feinblom.
Bloom. Oh, he's the founder of Designs for Vision.
Right.
But did die in 1985.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. But he's, his vision, pun intended, is still going to this day. They've got 73 offices worldwide.
And not only did he invent this giant monstrosity of a thing, his company makes like 1,000 different types of telescope glasses. I wonder if these were his first ones. And then he was like, hey, maybe we don't need all of this. Maybe people just want to see normally down at something very, very like magnified.
They're still active on Twitter, Designs for Vision, up until September.
Cancelled.
Oh,
up until September.
Yeah,
they could
that's
be
all right.
On Blue Sky
19,000. No Blue Skies coming up for them. They've posted some Halloween pictures on Instagram, which are pretty fun.
Right.
Everyone's looking to have a good time. Someone's throwing a sneaky little Masonic hand gesture in one of them, which is cool.
God.
Look, that bakery skull illusion.
Yeah.
You know what that looks like to me?
What does it look like to you?
It looks like a folded in, mad fold in.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what it would look like when you folded it in.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny.
That's what it makes me think of.
Well, that's the Weekly World News. Yeah. Any takeaways for you guys from the Weekly World News?
I found it much more entertaining than I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Not that I thought it would be boring, but I wasn't expecting the wealth of like awesome ads and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
I would love to have a hard copy of it every week.
Yeah.
Like sitting down Sunday morning coffee and just getting some wild and zany news would be a real treat.
I did jump on eBay just to see if anyone was selling old lots of them. Like sometimes you can pick up lots of Mad magazines and stuff like that. But people are selling like one issue for $25.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's money I could be spending on a pen.
Yeah. Just sell me a box of old shitty ones for like $50. Like sell me 100 old copies.
Cam, what did you think about the Weekly World News?
I felt it was definitely preferable to reading about how all of these, like
the actual world news, like how
the Trump's cabinet is being stacked with like actual Nazis.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Hey, I just noticed there's also a column in here called My America by Ed Anger. And maybe we need to be checking that out each week as well.
All right.
Yeah, then we can be like, what was Ed Anger's America like in 1981 compared to the America today?
Probably pretty similar.
Yeah, well, the first part of this is, the headline is, "There are no hard times at Nancy's palace." And he says, "I thought it would never happen, but President Reagan has finally admitted that America is in a recession."
So Reagan was in power at the time.
Yes.
And
would you ever think... Sorry, go ahead.
And he was famously bad.
Well, I don't know. It depends who you talk to, right?
Yeah, he was famously bad.
Yeah.
Secret Reagan fan, salty, showing his
I don't know. I like, you always hear people talk about Reagan being like good.
No, really bad. War on drugs, tanked the economy, gave a lot of money to the rich.
I mean, I'm specifically thinking of Alec Baldwin's character in 30 Rock.
Yeah, right. He was famously a bad guy.
Big Reagan fan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that probably tells you a lot about him. I'm looking forward to getting more Pauline Bennett's predictions. I think, like Salty, the quirky news was less funny but more fun.
Yeah,
seeing a giant cow, learning about
turtles on a log.
Yeah, turtles on a log. The kitten with the giant bone. I didn't talk about the cartoons, but there was a couple of little cartoons that were just like, married life, woman be woman, kind of stuff.
They do be doing that. No, the cartoons were very heteronormative.
Yeah, and like
they're like women.
Look at my fat old husband. Isn't he just a loser? Kind of a thing.
Well, it was sort of weird because it was like 1981, and they're like, "Oh, these women are getting ideas." It's like I think they've had the ideas for a little while.
Yeah.
The Weekly World News cartoonist is like catching up.
I mean, hang on, because
then there was one where it was like a husband and wife on their wedding day, and the woman is throwing the bouquet back over her shoulder, and all the women are running to catch it. Classic wedding behavior.
Yep.
But the man is throwing his little black address book over his shoulder.
Ooh.
Which again, I'm not sure it's like the most 1981-y thing.
So
that he has his little black book with all of the girls' addresses in it.
So it wasn't until 1974 that the Equal Credit Opportunity Act in the US passed, that women were granted the right to open a bank account on their own. And then, like, even for a few years after that, a lot of banks still made men had the husband had to sign for a woman to open a bank account. So,
right,
1981 is not that far from 74. So,
all right,
maybe there, yeah.
But the women's lib movement had been around for a while, and it's just arriving in 1981 in the Weekly World News.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was an article about General getting fired because he said a dirty word in the Weekly World News, and they didn't say what the word was. And I tried to Google it, and I found the general that fired him and allegedly heard the word, and the Major General was like, "No, you're out of the service." And the implication was he got fired because of woke. You know, you can't even a soldier can't even say a dirty word anymore.
Can't even say slur anymore.
Yeah, and I was like, what
Sailor
dirty
can't even
word,
swear like a sailor.
What dirty word would get you kicked out of the army now, let alone in the 80s? Like, come on. You could say it either didn't happen or they were ready to complain about woke back then. Yeah, all right. Well, next week we're going to have a No Dogs Club.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to talk about?
I believe we're going to talk about sea slugs.
Sea slugs. You know what? I was mentioning our little foray into the No Dogs Club on my stream the other day, and someone said, you know what animal is really cool is sea slugs.
Great.
There's a lot of scientific firsts and like fun stuff around sea slugs.
Okay.
I think if we expanded into like sea cucumbers as well, then we can talk about those ones that like the wild boys would get in the water and jerk off until it looked like they jizz everywhere.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to say.
All right, thanks for that, Salty. I'm really looking forward to not showing up to that one again.
Yeah. Salty, I'm looking forward to hearing about the jizz sea cucumbers.
Yeah, there's also a sea cucumber that apparently a fish lives in its butt.
Hey, Salty, save the gold for No Dogs.
Cut all that then. Cut all that. No, don't cut it because people are gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna tune in and listen to that.
Yeah, cannot wait for that sea slug fish butt scuttlebutt. Where do people find people?
We're all on Blue Sky now.
Yeah.
Hey.
I just discovered that I signed up ages ago. Didn't even know.
I think you've discovered that previously and then forgotten it again.
No, well, I remember there was a whole big thing where I signed up to Mastodon.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking of Mastodon, and I went on to bloody Blue Sky, and I was like, all right, let's go the salt.bluesky, and it's like that's already been taken. I was like, fuck. All right, well, I'll try something else. I tried a different one, and it's like your email's already taken. I was like, God damn it! I must have already signed up, and I had already signed up as the Salt.
There you go.
So I did get my username that I wanted, and I just forgot about it. So now I've logged in now. I've put the app on my phone.
So
I'm gonna start posting on there. Should I post artwork? Is that going to annoy people?
No, artwork is one of the foundation things of B-Sky.
Make
right.
sure you put some alt text on there.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Okay.
I've gone with Blue Sky. Mastodon. You know, I was on a Mastodon server that got shut down because of like some sort of anime argument. So
it's such a Mastodon thing.
I'm just going to stick with Blue Sky. But I've called Tom on Twitter. Everyone's like, Cam, when are you going to get off Twitter? It's like, I was still on there because I was like, I'm costing Elon money, but I think I'm just making him money. So whatever the option is that costs Elon the most money, that's what I'll go with.
Yeah. You can find me on B-Sky. I've got a custom handle now at aleofatime.com.
Very fancy.
Ooh. So does that's your domain?
Yeah, you can link it directly to a domain you own.
Should I change my Blue Sky handle from Sexenheimer.bluesky or whatever to change the Australian flag to a giantdick.com, which is a domain that I own?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, can I just also preview something for next week as well?
Go.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I think we need Luke to explain to us next week. Apparently, a new species of marine isopod has been named after a Wellington brew pub. So did you put a beer in the crustacean beer competition?
No, I didn't. I don't even know these things are happening. I need to tap in.
You got to tap in. I thought see, this is what happens when Ale of Time goes on fucking hiatus.
What?
You lose your inside track to all the beer stuff.
Yeah. You're hyper focused on running a brewery, you know?
Yeah.
Learning what wholesale is.
Next week we'll get into why Luke didn't win why they didn't name a new isopod short jaw. Probably because there's a fish already called that. But you know,
we are
explain yourself, Robbo.
A lot of marine biologists do come in to buy our t-shirt specifically.
Oh, nice.
We're kind of the unofficial merch of New Zealand marine biologists, which is great.
Yeah, but sort of makes it harder to explain why you didn't even enter the fish, the
ocean-related
competition.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet freshwater fish, right?
Yeah, freshwater.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
we don't do
that
salt.
ocean.
Yeah, we don't do salt here.
Yeah. Famously
Ironic that
Yeah.
Salt designed your logo.
Yeah.
Salt designed your logo, and you're famously the son of like Westport's most famous fisherman who was in a book about fishing from the ocean.
Yeah, but he was fishing.
Was the main character in a book?
No, he wasn't the main character. He was part of it, but he was unloading the boats. He was running the dock. So he was unloading the fishing boats, and that was in fresh water.
Okay.
The Robinsons do not cross into the ocean, Cam.
I stand corrected. Hey, thank you to Tammy and thank you to Alice, our cook patrons.
Thanks, Alice.
Tammy and Alice, thank you.
Where did this come from?
Very belated thank you to Alice, who signed up a few months ago.
Jeebus, sorry, Alice.
So that's a thank you and a sorry, Alice.
Yeah, we're not really on top of it.
No.
Okay.
But you can find us on Patreon. You can find us upothepod.com.
Yeah.
We're all on Blue Sky.
I think I'm going to start dropping episodes earlier on Patreon now as well. Maybe raw files and then edited ones for the main feed.
That sounds dangerous because there's a lot you need to cut.
I mean, it won't be completely raw. All those racial slurs you used at the start, Cam, I'll cut them out. Don't worry.
You said you weren't recording. All right, that's enough.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Wrap it up. Laters.
Bye.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing, except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing, except Donald Trump is clearly a woman.